Hey everybody, this is Soger. This is going to be another viewer question answer video. Today's questions are coming from the city population video I did, where I suggested to limit your city population between 7 and 10 to get the most return on investment on districts with the lowest investment of amenities. The questions are coming from Ahmed Sami. His first question is, what if I can get game-winning yields from tiles like with a preserve or a natural wonder, and especially with Coupe, Bull Moose Teddy, or Inca? This is two separate questions, so I'll start with the natural wonder first. If it's the capital, yeah, you're going to want to work every single tile in the capital on most natural wonders because your capital is going to produce the most science and culture 99% of the time. So you're going to want to have Pingala in your capital 99% of the time. There's such a rarity where another city is ever going to be able to outrace the capital on culture or science, the yield that you're trying to win the game with, just due to the nature of the game and the way yields are dispersed. That's just so rare that that situation's ever going to occur. So in that situation, yeah, you're going to want to work every single tile that you can in the capital. But I also stated in my city population video that your capital is usually going to have over 10 population, and it should, because it's usually going to have your government plaza. More often than that, it's going to have your diplomatic corridor if you're building a trade hub city, just because that's the city that's going to have the production to produce your government plaza and stuff like that. So in that instance, yeah, but that's not really affected by the population video. So now the second part of that question, which is, okay, cities after your capital. There is absolutely no reason for a single city to work every tile of a natural wonder unless it's just naturally going to occur. You're better off just dispersing those tiles through multiple cities because, like I said, you're never going to make a city where it makes sense to move Pingala there, that it really matters how much culture that city's making. For the like Oxford University, where you increase the amount of science produced by 20%, that's a very late mid late game wonder where that 20% actually isn't doing that much. um because it's just like, just once again, due to the nature of the game, the city that builds that 20% isn't going to be that impactful, even with a perfect Mount Roar, the one that gives you faith in or faith in science. Even if you're working every tile, that 20% isn't that much. It's only producing, like, math wise, like 2 to 3 more science per turn at that plus 20% than a city with a full campus in every building. So there's no real reason to think you have to work a natural one every natural wonder tile in a single city. Um, so you're better off just separating it between the cities, because then you're going to get more districts. Like I said, if two cities are settled to work a natural wonder, you're getting 2 districts right away. You're getting 4 districts once both of those cities reaches 4 population, and you're getting 6 districts once both of those cities reaches 7 population. And districts win games. Districts will always provide more yields. So that is sort of the natural wonder thing. If it's the capital, yeah, work every single tile. Even with like Bull Moose Teddy, Coupe, all those, you're still just better off cramming as many cities into an area as possible to get the most yields possible. Now, with preserves, I'm just not a big fan of preserves, period. Even with the civilizations you mentioned, Bull Moose Teddy has the strongest preserves by far. But that's only because Bull Moose's Teddy's ability is incredibly strong. If you take, like, it's strong enough that it makes preserves look good, and you don't realize the fact that you have to get to conservation for them to work. And up until you get to conservation, they're actually only providing housing, unless you sort of got this 1 in a million perfect scenario where you have a giant forest. Like, if you tweak with the game settings, it might happen a little bit more, but you can only do stuff to increase appeal by removing the negative. You can't add appeal until conservation in most cases. So preserves are just a bad district investment to begin with, in my opinion, because by the time you reach conservation in a culture game, the game's basically over. You're already to national parks. In a science game, you're not going to really go into conservation and preserves because you're going to need that production chops much more than you're going to need the very low return that a preserve is going to give until you can go out of your way and make a perfect preserve. Even Inca, yeah, I get the draw of it having the extra yields on mountain tiles, but mountain tiles are pretty weak, and you're investing into a district that doesn't provide great people points. It doesn't enhance your trade route in any way, and it takes a slot. If preserves were an accessory district, not a specialty district, like if it was you could build one as long as you had a tile that applied to it, like neighborhoods, I'd be much more hot on them. But even if you do have a perfect preserve location, you can still work those tiles in multiple cities, is the other part of this question. I guess I don't really need to go on an anti-preserve rant. They're not bad. Once again, if you're just playing for a casual experience, if you're playing and you're not trying to rush through the game, don't listen to me. Build preserves. If it makes you happy, build preserves. If you're looking at a sub 200 game and you're building a preserve, you're not being serious, or you're doing it because you're such a good player that you can build that preserve and it's not going to affect you as much. And that's just the reality. If you're struggling to get a sub 200, just pretend preserves don't exist, and you will probably do a lot better. Nature Teddy is the huge caveat to that, but once again, it's just because his tiles are vastly superior to him, so you're teching into something that already works. Now, a second question he had, which sort of ties into this, is the inherent science and culture per citizen negligible? I get why you're asking this question, but the answer is no. In the ancient era, it's not. That's why I'm saying limit the population in your cities, get more population out there. So, one, you can get the cities that you have to that 20% ecstatic much sooner and get a higher portion of science and culture for the population you have. And two, it's easier to grow a city to five population. You can get three cities to five population much easier than you can get one city to 12 population. Because of the scaling nature of gaining population, it just requires more and more resources, more investment from the player to just keep growing your population. And this is another reason why I say limit the population of your cities to 7 or 10 population, because that early population, one, grows super fast, and two, is immediately returning on investment. When you get to four population, you're getting that next district out, which is giving you game winning yields. You're getting these districts sooner. When you're growing your population past 10, you're not really getting the game winning yield districts anymore. You're getting accessory yields, you're getting more production per turn, which doesn't matter outside of the capital. So like I get it, but you're actually going to get more people overall if you're just settling more cities and keeping the cities you have at ecstatic. Now, one last question that wasn't asked by Ahmed Sami, but I've just seen this a lot and a lot in response to my video. People saying it's really easy to get enough amenities to have your cities at any population. And that's true. After turn 200, when you have every entertainment center building unlocked, when you have all the policy cards from like democracy and on, it's super easy to control your amenity cost. It's incredibly easy when you have everything that's available in game. But how much of your game is going up to democracy? How much of your game is unlocking all those entertainment center buildings? How much of your game is a city growing before you build your first entertainment center because you don't need a campus in the science game, or you don't need a theater square in a culture game, or you don't want another trade route to grow your cities? This is sort of such a non point in my view, because you're arguing end game end game reality at the part of the game where you're growing to that. I don't care what's at the end of the culture or science tree, because at that point the game is over. Every decision you make before turn 100 is more impactful than every single decision you make after turn 100. It's just the reality of the game. So when people will argue, oh, well, you should just grow your population to whatever because you can just eventually get those amenities up. Yeah, but that's irrelevant. Once again, if you're going to play a game that lasts 300 turns, don't listen to me. I specifically say that I'm looking for a sub 200 game for a reason. If you play a different style than me, that is perfectly fine. I don't care if you play that style, but it makes no sense if you're trying to do a sub 200 game and going, well, when I get to democracy, I'll have unlimited amenities. Yeah, but when you get to democracy, the game's over. So why does it matter? I need my cities at 20% before I get to monarchy. I need all my cities at 20% on turn 30. I want to be producing the most yields I can right away. That's why when my city can get to 10 population at turn 80, I'm not building the housing to get it to 10 population because that's going to take an amenity away from my capital. I don't care how easy it is to get those amenities end game because I'm already making 1,000 science or culture per turn. So why do I care if I'm getting 1,200 or 1,000? I'm already single turning this stuff. So that's sort of a non-point as well. So that's the end of my rant on sort of that one. As I get that it's a difference in objective, but I clearly state all the time that my goal is to win as quickly as possible. If that's not your goal, it's not that I don't understand what you're saying. It's just there's enough people making content for people who are just eventually going to win the game that I'm not going to not deal with on my channel, but I'm not going to address on my channel. There are many better content creators than myself if you're looking for a casual experience. I'm the sweaty deity player. All right, I want to do the best. So if you're watching this, that's what you're gonna get. But anyways, thank you for watching. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments section. I'll eventually get to them. All right, thank you for watching and bye.